Hello, hello. Welcome back to the weekly Monday Motivation Podcast, No More Excuses. I am your host, Sandi Ballard, and I appreciate you listening, for sharing my podcasts with other people via social media, email, however you have been sharing it is fantastic. And if you've not been sharing it, I please ask that you do. Because yes, that is something I need help with, and that's the only way my podcasts have traveled around the world. So thank you for that. And don't forget to follow me on social media as I post questions and articles and challenges throughout the week based on the theme. And it's been fun hearing from you. This is the fourth year, so I've heard a lot from a lot of you. I've heard a lot from a lot of you. And last week, the podcast is about getting the noises out of your head. I keep a notepad by my bed for when I wake up in the morning before the alarm, because that's what happens to me. A lot of you say you can't go to sleep until you write it down or email yourself. And I had one person email me and say, before bed, she takes about 10 minutes to reflect on her day and think about what's coming up. And if there's any concerns or frustrations or stressors, if any of those things come up, she writes them down and thinks about what can she do. Is there anything she can do right now? Sort of a meditation time. In podcast 161, I guess that was a couple weeks ago, I shared about clients who have made progress due to these honest conversations, getting it out of your head, making the tough decisions because they've had these honest conversations. And all of this is really about clearing your mind so you can move forward, so you can take the steps you need to create action, make progress, and achieve your goals. And if you've listened to me for a while, you know those are the three things I harp on: create action, make progress, so you can achieve your goals. Personally and professionally, we all have to get from point A to point B, right? And when we do, it's time to think about what's next. Well, in podcast 153, so 10 weeks ago, I talked about what's next because you've been making progress with the first quarter. But this is a little bit bigger, a little bit deeper than that. What's next as far as goals, but what's next on your list to help you achieve the goal? What's next that you need help with so you can create progress? What's next to allow you to take that next step? I've been asking my clients the same question, and some of the answers I've received are: shut up and listen, refocus, have a team event, start having those team events so they can change the mindset of the team, stability, new car, 3 new clients, right? That's good. That's a good one. And it's really about, you've got to figure out what's next that you need to have a clear mind so you can figure that out. Because have you ever tried to really figure something out, find an answer when you've got a shitstorm going on in your head, right? It's full of noise. That's why I love to do strategy sessions with people. Usually about a 2 to 3 hour brain dump session. It's what I like to call them, where we get it all out of their head onto a whiteboard. You can see it differently. So then we can start figuring out the who, what, how, and what. And trust me, it's what clients have said to me. Wow, that looks a hell of a lot different on the board than it did in my head. So at least by writing it down or emailing yourself, the shit that's going on, that's keeping you up at night or waking you up before the alarm, so you can relieve your mind and the stress of trying to not just remember, but to figure things out. Think about it. It's like a hurricane, a storm, right? Well, I just said shit storm. It's, your tornado. Everything's just going. Your thoughts are going crazy. And how do you do anything in the middle of a storm, right? Maybe it's just remembering to pay a bill. That's what popped in my head the other morning. And so I just wrote it down so I could get about 10, 15 more minutes of sleep, because I was worried about remembering, because it wasn't a normal bill, right? So now that you understand the importance of getting it out of your mind, you can look at your list, whether it's a simple task or a full-on lots of things, and I'm talking stressors, frustrations, challenges, or to-dos, right? Paying a bill is easy. Get online, you make a call, drop the check in the mail. But when you have a full-on shitstorm in your head, it's probably due to not writing things down and figuring out what's next, what you need to do, what you need help with. What can you even do about any of these things? Sometimes you can't do anything, like the shitty weather yesterday on Mother's Day. But it's what I want to hear this week, right? So here's your challenge. I want to hear what's next. What do you need help with? So again, tell me you wrote this all down. Get a big giant piece of paper and put it down and look at it, right? Little paper, big paper, whatever it is. Get everything out of your head and think about what's next, right? What do you need help with? What are you going to do next? And if writing it down and emailing yourself isn't helping and you can't quite see things differently, then email me, sballard@growingforward.biz, because we need to do a brain dump session, all right? And I can even do those over Zoom. So have a great week. I look forward to hearing from you. Cheers.